Some of you may be familiar with Bad Empanada. He's a tanky, right? You know what? I won't use that language. I just know that he has some good traits about him, some good qualities. He's very pro-Palestine, if I recall correctly. I believe he calls himself a leftist and a communist. But he does have some interesting takes every now and then. I did go after him one time, I think like a little over a year ago, for his take on not voting. I did end up taking that video down because I didn't want beef with him at the time. But I'm all about the beef now, so if he wants to come after me for this, then so be it. But he says Mamdani and AOC spew Zionism once more. According to the link put in Discord from Jimmy Mikes, which by the way was in the juice box of the Discord server, you too can leave links in the juice box for me to go over, potentially on stream, if you join the Discord server. The guy who posted the link said he calls Mamdani in this video a crypto-Zionist, which is crazy. Bad Empanada needs to get out of my country. Oh, he lives in Australia, right? He's Australian. You gotta undo his land hook and just let him fall into space. Okay, let's take a look.
There was a few days ago, before I'm recording this, by the time you're seeing this, it might be way later. I don't know when I'm going to upload this. Who knows? Protests against West Bank land sales in New York again. Because in the city of New York, run by Zohran Mamdani, Zionists sell land there all the time, and he does nothing to stop it. We can check out what Barry Weiss's CBS News has to say about this. Pro-Hamas chant during protests outside Queen's Synagogue sparks outrage. They don't even mention the land sales. Awesome. But this was a protest against land sales being carried out at a synagogue, which, by the way, had to be carried out further away from the synagogue.
If you see pro-Hamas somewhere, you know instantly that's going to be a Zionist news source, by the way.
Across the street, because Mamdani kept in an order from the previous government that gave police more discretion to keep protesters as far away from places of worship as possible. Now, Zohran Mamdani is someone who has, for a very...
Okay, but he's been mayor for like less than a month. You know, like, I'd be willing to believe that he's dealing with more important matters right now. And also, I'd be willing to hear out why he wants to keep protests away from houses of worship. You know, like, I'm not entirely opposed to the idea of that. But protests, like, are going to happen outside of places of worship sometimes because the whole point is that you're disrupting, like, the status quo. So, like, I don't know what good it will do. I would just want to hear what Mamdani has to say in response to that, if he were to ever watch this, which he won't, but, you know.
Very long time been framed as this kind of pro-Palestine, anti-Zionist. He's on our side, he's not on...
He has literally said if Benjamin Netanyahu were to step foot in New York, that he would arrest him. So yeah, I think that would lead one to believe that he is in fact anti-Zionist, yes.
On their side at all, no.
He basically said that, like, if the king of Zionism steps foot in my domain, I will f his shit up. Bring me the leader of Zion. Yeah, let him come here, bet. It doesn't get much more anti-Zionist than that, in my opinion. But let's hear him out.
I mean, I've been over how that's already not true a billion times before.
Who the f cares what Bad Empanada thinks? 100,000 people who subscribe to him. More people than watch me by a couple of magnitudes. I think it's safe to say he's pretty relevant.
But he has a lot of options here. One of them is just to say nothing. Another one of them is to denounce the land sales and say nothing about the protests. That's a good one. You could even just support the protests. That would be a good one as well. But he chose the absolute worst option. He denounced the protesters only. He said, as I said earlier today, chants in support of a terrorist organization have no place in our city. We will continue to ensure New Yorkers' safety entering and exiting houses of worship as well as the constitutional right to protest.
Interesting. Okay, now I'm interested. Let's take a look. Zohran Mamdani protest statement. I'm willing to believe that he said some shit like that he's not doing his job. I'm willing to believe that. Okay, so this is from January 9th. Hold on. Here, let's see. New York City pro-Hamas protest. If it was literally pro-Hamas, here, let's take a look. Is this it?
Some Israel attention than most.
Stop the sale of stolen land. Land sales out of our synagogues. Land sales out of our synagogues. This all seems above board to me.
For a chant in support of Hamas.
It hurts.
What are they saying?
It hurts.
Okay, so I guess they are doing pro-Hamas chants. They're crossing a bit of a threshold that Mamdani, as a politician, cannot stand by. If you are literally saying pro-Hamas things, I'm sorry, I'm not going to sit here and finger wag at you, but don't expect to have politicians banging down your door to defend what you're doing.
It really
They
does.
can't.
It really does. Because they hate us.
They should not come to specifically Jewish neighborhoods to cause more trouble, because once it's hate words.
Okay, I get the idea. I think the takeaway here is not that he's like pro-Zionist now. I think it's that, first of all, I think that he could have done a better job. I do think that he needs to grow a pair and be like, yes, I know there were some pro-Hamas chants there. I'm aware, and I don't like that. But when you consider the situation in Israel right now and in Palestine, you know, it is technically their right to protest. That's their right. So I think that Bad Empanada has a point there. But I wouldn't go as far as to call him a Zionist over this. Like, it's like, you know, he's almost like doing that thing that's like, oh, well, if you don't agree with me, then you're just like Mamdani's basically a Nazi now. Zohran Mamdani's a Nazi now because Nazis are like anti-Israel, aren't they? I don't know. You got my point.
This is how he frames a protest against land sales in the West Bank being carried out in his city. Says nothing about the land sales, calls Palestinian resistance terrorism. You know, he's pro-Palestine, but he's making statements like this against the resistance to colonialism. Like, and as always, these people will say shit like, but what do you expect? He's the mayor of New York. He can't just outright support Hamas. He could also say nothing. He doesn't need to say anything. He can also even just release a both sides statement. He can also not say this and just announce the land sales of Palestinian land.
Yeah, I agree. I think he's cooking here.
There's plenty of options, all of which would have been better than this, even though, you know, both sidesing it is not good. Still would have been better. He chose the absolute worst possible option. And after this, he was asked, why didn't you?
This still isn't something that I would like make an entire segment about personally. Like, I just don't think this is indicative of the kind of job that Mamdani's going to do. I guess if you want to be as negative about it as possible, you could look at this as foreshadowing. Like, look at what Mamdani is going to turn into. He's just going to be another run-of-the-mill milquetoast liberal who doesn't actually get anything done, which is completely possible and fair to think. But calling him a Zionist at this point is pretty far out there. I just think that Empanada is going a bit too far.
Denounced the land sales as well when you made your statement. And he was like, I'm against any violation of international law in New York, blah, blah. Why didn't you say that in the first place then? Why didn't you include this in your original statement? Because it's clear that you're not actually, because you're doing nothing to stop them. But you know what he is doing? He's trying to stop the protest. I misread that. Because he gave Jessica Tisch permission to review the New York police protocol regarding...
By BT Dubs, be careful. Now that you've lightly criticized him, he'll never shut up about you for like a week. Let him come after me.
Protest outside of places
Let him make
of
me
worship.
relevant again.
Clearly, to stop these sorts of protests. And guess who else came out of the woodwork? Someone else who's supposedly on our side. Alexandria.
I'm going to be honest, though, if I'm being as uncharitable as possible, let's stoke the flames a little bit. You know what I mean? Let's really get this fire burning. If I'm being as uncharitable as possible to Bad Empanada, I do think that he gets a kick out of being like the most leftist. You know, like being as left as possible. Like nobody's more leftist than I am. Every single politician is a fascist. Like that kind of deal, which he hasn't said. I'm not accusing him of that, but like that's the energy that he gives off to me. Is like he tries so hard to be more progressive, more leftist, more this and that than anybody else on the left. I do feel that.
Hey, so marching into a predominantly Jewish neighborhood and leading with a chant to say, we support Hamas, is a disgusting and anti-Semitic thing to do. Pretty basic. Listen to how fucking condescending this disgusting piece of crap is. A predominantly Jewish neighborhood.
Yeah, if it were me, okay, again, I agree with Bad Empanada on a certain point here, to a certain extent. Because if it were me in AOC's place or in Mamdani's place, you just don't comment on it. Don't comment on it. Like, who are you feeding here? Who's this for? Because anybody who's to the right of you already hates your guts. And this is not going to fix that. This is not going to fix that. Okay? Moderates who hate you hate your guts. Okay? You're not pulling anybody over with this. And then on the other hand, people on the left are just going to look at you and be like, bro, like, this is so not the point right now. This is not the point right now, which it's not. I do think that there is some room here for Bad Empanada to criticize them.
Apparently, there's ethnic enclaves in New York that are no-go zones for anyone else, and you're not allowed to say certain things there that might harm.
If he's supposedly that left, why doesn't he consider himself an anarchist? I don't know what his exact alignment is. Is he he's probably like a communist, what is it called? Authoritarian communist, right? I don't know. I don't know for sure. I don't know. Don't take my word for it. That's just what he gives off.
Jewish feelings. No mention of the fact that literally selling Palestinian land there? Of course not. Just a blanket denouncement of Palestinian resistance, calling them terrorists, and saying that anyone who supports them, anyone who protests against land sales, is anti-Semitic. Clearly the most important thing in the world, discrimination against people who are some of the most privileged people in the entire world. Half of them literally do Nazi ethno-nationalism on Palestinian land right now, and most of the other half support that. You know what's important here? Is it denouncing the people with immense power who are literally selling land they stole with that power as a progressive?
Did he ever call Mamdani a crypto-Nazi? Or a crypto-Zionist? A crypto-Zionist? Where did crypto come into it?
Or is it to denounce the people who are protesting against that as anti-Semitic? And also double whammy, denouncing a desperate resistance militia organization primarily made up of orphans for fighting back against that Israeli colonialism that is being carried out in your city right here.
Yeah, it's kind of wild that, like, they didn't even go to talk to these people or nothing. Like, get their input on why they did what they did. I do think that's kind of wild, and then make a statement about it. Just let it be.
With this land sale. Obviously, she's going to choose number 2 because she's not on our side. Obviously, Zohran Mamdani is going to choose number 2 because he's not on our side either.
I think that's
now what is happening with Mamdani is the only thing that possibly could have happened. It's obvious. Okay. And anyone still supporting him at this point is doing so because they are happy to throw the Palestinian people under the bus. It really is that simple.
Okay, but then who do I support, man? If not Mamdani, then who? We need people on the inside of this disgusting government to help change it, okay? So if not Mamdani, who do I turn to? I mean, who is more progressive than him at this point? I'm not saying he's perfect, man, but you got to agree with him on some things like free housing and busing. Did he say free? Maybe not free housing. Free busing, rent freezes, government-owned grocery stores. Like, he has great policy and free childcare, right? Free childcare, is that right? He's made, like, he said he wants all of these things and then some, you know? And he is ideally the most right-leaning that we want, like, our entire government to be. You know what I mean? Like, I've always looked at it this way. AOC, Zohran Mamdani, Bernie Sanders, all these people, especially Bernie Sanders, are like the most right-wing that I want our government to be. Imagine a world where Bernie Sanders were the far right in our government and everything was to the left of Bernie Sanders. That's the world we must fight for. And until we're there, people like Bernie, AOC, Zohran, they are on our side, okay? Like, I'm sorry, you can nitpick them all you want, and they're going to make mistakes and show their liberalness every now and again. And you can criticize them certainly for that. But to say that they're not on our side over this one tweet is just crazy, my guy. Like, that's insane. That's insane. I'm sorry. Zohran Mamdani is absolutely on our side, as close to it as it gets in our government.
I will again plug my article on this, just in case someone here somehow hasn't seen it, that goes into this more in depth. It's called the Pro-Palestine Counterinsurgency. You can find it at offpatmos.substack.com. But yeah, I mean,
I'm not going to critique his exact politics because, like, I'm just critiquing this one video. I don't know if he's like authoritarian or not. I have no idea about any of that. All I know is that this video right here is in front of me and I'm watching it.
What else is there to say about this crap? It's the same shit every time. At this point, anyone who is behind this is just happy to abandon Palestinians. It really is that simple. And guess which consultant for the Zohran Mamdani campaign came out to post vaguely about this without actually naming him? Hassan Piker, who said, it's clear that many people...
Hassan Piker, by the way, is pretty supportive of Bad Empanada overall. Like, he's very hesitant to critique this guy.
See, the pro-Palestinian cause is at least discardable if they're going to make a fuss about this instead of the Kahanist flag-waving Zionists, or...
Oh, is he making a fuss or is he agreeing? I missed that. Hold on.
Consultant for the Zohran Mamdani campaign
I
came
can't
out
tell
to
what he's going to
post
say yet.
vaguely about this without actually naming him. Hassan Piker, who said, it's clear that...
Oh, he is critiquing him because he's like, oh, he didn't actually name Zohran.
And many people see the pro-Palestinian cause as at least discardable if they're going to make a fuss about this instead of the Kahanist flag-waving Zionists or the illegal synagogue land sale. Of course, he won't say who it is who's discarding this. Zohran Mamdani.
Yeah, it's called I'm not naming any names. I'm not naming any names, but you know who you are, okay? Like, any meathead could put 2 and 2 together and see that Hassan Piker does not align with Zohran Mamdani on this. Could he have gone a little further and said, yeah, I'm talking about Zohran Mamdani and AOC? Sure. But, like, I used to watch Hassan Piker religiously. The guy has critiqued everyone from conservatives all the way to Bernie Sanders and AOC. He's absolutely critiqued them before. So he's not afraid to speak up against them. He's just doing kind of a hand gesture of like, hey guys, let's not, you know. It's not cowardice. I feel like that's a really uncharitable read of Hassan. And for the record, I don't even watch the guy anymore. I do think that he shocked his dog, and I don't always like the way he conducts himself.
Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez.
But this is a little ridiculous.
People who he supports. Brad Lander, someone he endorsed like 2 weeks ago, said he likes him. Will there be any...
Of course Brad Lander was going to do this. Yeah. No, this one does not surprise me one bit. If AOC... If Zohran Mamdani is like the closest to a leftist in government that we have, I would put AOC below that, Bernie Sanders below that, and then like substantially below that is Brad Lander. Because he supported Mamdani in his election, but, you know, of course he's going to do this.
And oops, yeah, I fucked up. I shouldn't have backed these people. I shouldn't have consulted for them. I shouldn't have worked with their campaign. No, because him and others like him want to keep working with the...
Okay, would you rather have Brad Lander or would you rather have the guy to the right of Brad Lander? You know? Like, I'm not saying... I guess that's a least evil argument or whatever. The lesser evil. Fine, fair. Brad Lander was pretty cool. And he is still pretty cool. He's not great, but again, like, you guys... like. I'll take what I can get, man. We're fighting for scraps here.
Campaigns. So they will never directly address them. They will never name the elephant in the room. It's just going to be there, and they're just going to ignore it. They're going to make these announcements without naming who they...
Okay, BadEmpanada's, I know what you're doing, man. You're just being as sensationalist as possible. Just admit it. Like, you like the attention. You like being in the spotlight, because I do too. But, like, you don't have to be this sensationalist. You could just be, like, more entertaining. You know, like, I'm not, again, I wasn't going to go here, but like, he's not that entertaining, right? Like, people like watch this guy for his hot takes, not that he's entertaining, right? Like, he just has like the hottest, most progressive communist take or whatever. That's why people watch him. Because people watch me either because, like, well, I assume people are here because they're entertained. I have people come in here sometimes because they hate me. That's happened before. But I do think I know how to please an audience. But I think that's what's happening. Like, he just is as sensationalist as possible to draw as many eyes toward him as possible.
That announcing, because they're too scared to lose the privileged position that they've been given in the Democratic Party ecosystem. They helped create this situation. Now they're going to be like, shock, horror, how could this be happening? I had nothing to do with this. Anyway, yeah, Zohran Mamdani, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, Brad Lander, and everyone.
Okay, but like,
help.
What's his solution? I think I said this last time I covered him as well. Like, he doesn't have a solution. I guess just join the Vanguard or something, right? Like what are you doing then? Like, what are we working toward here? What's the goal? Because my goal, hopefully, is to, as peacefully and non-violently as possible, move the government towards the left so that we don't have to have a like revolution or civil war or whatever, you know? And Zohran Mamdani is more of a leftist than any politician we've had since, like, I don't know. He might be the most, at least on like a national attention scale, right? I'm sure there have been local politicians who are much more leftist than Zohran, but on a national attention scale, with how popular he is, I'm sorry, he is just a positive force for the left. He is. And he f***ed up here, and he should have just ignored that. But it was one Twitter post. One, okay? And you latched onto it and milked that shit until it was bone dry. There's nothing here, man. It is just Zohran Mamdani being kind of a liberal for a minute. We were expecting that, and if that's as bad as it gets, hopefully that's as bad as it gets, because it really wasn't that much. Can we be honest here? Like, yeah, he should have just ignored it. I agree. But like, why? Like, you're making an entire segment about it. Why? Like, it's silly. I should low-key join ICE. They do pay well. I wouldn't recommend it, though. Nuremberg 2 is on the horizon. Alec, I have to disagree with you there. There's no world in which the capital class will ever let capitalism get voted out. I didn't say vote it out. I said make it as peaceful as possible. That's all I said. Wouldn't you like that as well? That's all I'm saying. We don't got to shed blood over this shit, even though we kind of already have. But, you know, minimizing the casualties would be nice.
To get them into this situation.
Nobody hates leftists as much as left are leftists. This constant infighting over BS cannot be good for the movement. Yeah, I think there is definitely an infighting problem. I think it's getting better. I think as more happens around the United States and around the world, leftists are starting to like coagulate and just stick together. But we'll see.
When it was so obvious what was happening. Anyone who still is outwardly supporting them and hasn't just outright denounced them is just a liberal.
On that note, and for the record, I do still think that Bad Empanada is on our side. I do. I just think that he's a little wacky, a little far out there. Like, reel it in a little bit, buddy.
It's a straight liberal. There's no other way to describe it. A liberal Zionist. Someone who will throw the Palestinian people under the bus the second they think they'll get anything out of it at all. They don't care how many Palestinian children die. They would sell each and every one of them out for a 20-cent discount on a bus ride.
That's wild to say about Mamdani and AOC. And even Brad Lander for that matter. I don't just don't think that. Here's the problem. Bad Empanada is terrible at empathizing. Terrible at it. Like, he sees somebody do one misstep, miscalculation, and he grabs onto that shit and he's just like, see this? This makes him evil! Like, calm the down, man. It's not all that, okay? Like, yeah, I stress, you're correct about some things. Zohran and AOC should not have given it any attention or heeded it any mind. Or Brad Lander, or any of them. I expected that from Brad Lander, but not Zohran or AOC. Just ignore it. This is so not the time for that. Agreed. But just chill out a minute, okay? Just chill out a little bit. I'm sorry, there's more important shit to talk about. Here, let's take a look at his channel, see what he's talking about. Okay. I was expecting him to be talking more about leftists, left-leaning politicians. Okay, well, okay, he's talking about important stuff. I thought he was just going to be shitting on a bunch of left-leaning politicians. But once again, like, I agree with you, they should have just ignored it, but come the on. Like, Zohran Mamdani, AOC, they're two of the best we got. It's a lot better to, like, yes, we can critique them and criticize them, but you also have to show support when they do good things. If you're only throwing shade their way when they do bad things, and you're not giving them any kudos when they do good things, which they do more good than bad, okay, in my opinion, then, like, what are you doing? Again, reel it in. If you happen to see this and respond to it, I don't know. Just I'm willing to chat it out if you want to hit me up in Discord sometime. Hi, thanks so much for watching and making it to the end of the video. I just wanted to let you all know that I love and appreciate everybody in my community, whether you can support me financially or just by liking, commenting, and sharing my videos. It helps way more than you know. That being said, I do want to give a very special thanks to my tier 4 subs, which would be Space Timid and Hot Take Andy. And thanks so much to my monetary subscribers from any of the tiered subs, or anybody who gives me money in any form, including going to my Patreon shop, donating money to me directly. It all helps way more than you know. If you do decide to help me financially, you can get some really cool perks like early access to content, exclusive access to censored videos, also some really cool badges next to your name. Even if you can't afford a monetary subscription, just watching, sharing, and commenting on my content helps way more than you know. Thanks again, and I will see you all in the next video.